Welcome to this new video where I will share my experience of developing an app using Android Studio. I usually use Google Keep Notes as my primary notes app. It has a simple, clean, and user-friendly UI and a lot of options like to-do lists, drawing, archive, labels, etc. And it also backs up all the notes automatically to my Google account. But sometimes I want to save sensitive information like account IDs and passwords, which I usually forget. Since everything is saved in the cloud, though I trust Google for its safety features, I still sometimes log into certain websites with Google and they ask to access my drive, which makes me uncomfortable. There are other alternatives in the Play Store, though. But I wanted to try something new. I wanted to make my own app. This way, I would learn some basics of app development, although I have zero knowledge about Java, React, HTML, XML, CSS, and such software development languages. Additionally, I would know how good AI tools are in this sector. After watching a lot of YouTube tutorials, I came up with two methods that I found easier to implement. First, I tried developing the app using Cursor and Windsurf combined with Expo, which worked to some extent. But the main drawback of that method is that Claude Sonnet is not free to use for a long time. I soon got all my 20 to 30 free prompts exhausted and barely could make a fully working app. But the advantage of that method was that I didn't have to understand or even touch the code. If I needed to modify it, I just had to give the prompt, say, make the button red color, and the AI agent would apply the changes itself. So I switched to the older and lengthier method, which was to understand the code and ask to make changes using ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, and other AI chatbots. For IDE, I used Android Studio and learned about the use of the different file systems like Manifest, which contains the code to ask for phone permissions, mainActivity.kt for backend, ActivityMain.xml to make the front end, themes, icons, Gradle dependencies, etc. I made one mistake using ChatGPT, which was that each window should have had a different XML file, but it actually wrote the front-end codes in the Kotlin file. I thought the number of lines wouldn't be too many, but I somehow ended up with 4,000 plus lines of code in a single file, which is obviously not a good practice. Now let me demonstrate my Notes app. This is the Notepad dashboard screen. On the top, you'll see the screen name, list or grid view toggle, light and dark mode toggle, a greeting, a search bar, all your notes, a create floating button, and a bottom navigation bar. You can move across the different screens by either tapping on the respective button on the navigation bar or swiping right or left across the screen. This is a welcome note, which you can either read, edit, or delete. You can tap on the floating button to create a new note. After writing something, press the back button of your phone or the top left arrow, and it will save the note in the dashboard. You can also rename the note during editing. You can hold the card to see more options to pin, archive, delete, or change the color of the cards. If you pin a note, it will get fixed above all the notes. You can move a note to archive, and it will appear in a different section. You can either delete a note temporarily, and it will move to the trash section, or delete it permanently, and it will disappear from the app. I have created several notes to demonstrate some of the colors of the cards and how they look in light and dark mode. You can change the view to list and grid according to your taste. You can also rearrange the cards using the arrow icons to move them up or down. The app will display a random greeting each time you open it or navigate back to this screen, with the message's tone adjusting based on the time of day. Finally, if you search any text in the search bar, it will look for and highlight that letter or word from the notes and show those cards only. Now let's move to the spreadsheet screen. This is a unique feature that Google Keep does not have. Similar to Notes, just click on the floating button and it will create a spreadsheet. By default, there are 3 columns and 5 rows. You can increase or decrease their number or size by pressing the buttons in the bottom bar. Type anything in the cells and press the back button to save it. All the features that you get in note cards like archiving, pinning, changing colors, etc. can also be applied here. There is a bug in this section, which is that the thumbnail of the table shows one of the columns always empty, which I could not fix even after repeated prompting. In the next screen, you can create a shopping list or any kind of to-do list by simply typing the item in the top text box and pressing the Add button. There's no separate card for simplicity. You can rearrange them, check or uncheck them, or delete them. Moving to the drawing section, tap on the floating button to create a canvas. Scribble something and press the back button to save it. There is another small bug here too, which is that the eraser and color toolbar appear only when you re-edit the drawing. The drawing dashboard cards have the same options as those of the notes and spreadsheet cards. Let me just move one note, one sheet, and one drawing to archive and trash. The archive accommodates all three kinds of cards with the edit feature. You can unarchive them so that they move back to their respective sections or move them to trash. In the trash, you cannot edit anything, but either restore them to their respective sections or delete them permanently, either one by one or all together by pressing the empty trash icon. You can also tap on the Share button to export all the documents as a zip file, which will be saved in your storage. Notes are saved as TXT, spreadsheets and to-do lists are saved as CSV, and drawings as PNG. Let me quickly show all the screens in light mode also. Special care was taken so that no UI elements get blended with the background when changing the theme. The whole app is ad-free, less than 5 megabytes, and takes no permissions from your phone, not even internet. This was all about my first Android app. I faced a lot of trouble prompting AI tools to write the correct code for me. The code they generate shows a lot of errors in the IDE. Moreover, the most annoying thing is that in an attempt to add a new feature, it sometimes destroys an old or another feature, which I then had to debug. For example, in an attempt to make the cards look good, it has managed to successfully vanish the search bar. If you ask whether AI tools can replace software developers, I would say yes. They can surely be more efficient than those who just rely on copying and pasting someone else's code to build very basic apps. Since a person like me, who isn't from a computer science background, could develop such an app or even a website by leveraging AI, then even a newborn kid could do it. But I've also felt the bottleneck of AI tools. These AI models are trained on code that's already available on the internet, so they don't really know how to go beyond that. To prove this, there's a very informative video by Alex O'Connor demonstrating why ChatGPT cannot generate a picture of a full glass of wine. This is where a human, a real software developer, has the advantage. With his imagination and with his coding skill, he can surpass what AIs can do and generate the picture of a glass full of wine. Thanks for watching.